Question number 2, Honourable David Cunliffe.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Order. 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 Point of order has been called.
Mr. Speaker, there's emerging of late a tendency to get up and ask a supplementary that has nothing to do with the primary or any supplementary or any answer that the Prime Minister might give, which would give a member a liberty to extend his question. Now, I've got no idea who Mr. Bayliss is.
Order. The essence of the question was around transparency and related to the original primary question. Question number 2, Honourable David Cunliffe.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the Prime Minister, does he stand by all his statements?
Right, Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, yes.
Speaker.
Supplementary
does
question,
he stand by
Honourable
his
David
2007
Cunliffe
statement in relation to Trans-Tasman regulatory harmonisation that, quote, "We always have to make sure what we are doing is in the best interest of New Zealand"? And if so, why did he come home empty-handed from Australia in relation to the supermarket boycott of New Zealand products?
Well, Mr. Speaker,
Right, Honourable Prime Minister.
Speaker, far from coming home empty-handed from Australia, we came home with a Trans-Tasman visa for the Cricket World Cup. We came home with an invitation for New Zealand businesses to be part of the G20 and be part of 400 global CEOs. We came home unpicking the terrible deal that Helen Clark and Phil Goff and David Cunliffe signed New Zealanders up to by making sure that student loans actually will be accessible to New Zealanders that are special class visa holders.
Order.
Speaker.
Order. That answer's quite long enough. Thank you.
Speaker.
Supplementary question, Honourable David Cunliffe.
Has the Prime Minister sought any advice how many Kiwi jobs will be lost as a result of this boycott? If so, what was the number? And if not, why has he not asked?
Right, Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I don't have that number, but I do have the number of people that have lost their job in the Labor Party today. It's one. The Leader of the Opposition's Chief of Staff's quit.
Order. 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 I'm trying to assist the member who's raising a point of order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The question was a simple and straightforward one. Has he asked for any advice?
Order.
He had not turned himself to that question.
There was 2 parts to the supplementary question. The Prime Minister addressed the one part and saying how many. He said none. That's true. He said he didn't have the number, which answers the question. Supplementary question, Honourable David Cunliffe.
Does the Prime Minister agree with his soulmate that the only appeal available to New Zealand exporters who could be facing a loss of up to $700 million per annum is an appeal to the Australian Commerce Commission, and if so, why?
Right, Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, firstly, quite fundamentally, I think the Leader of the Opposition is probably inventing numbers from somewhere, but they're not from a reliable source. But Mr. Speaker, more importantly.
Order. Order. I apologise to the Prime Minister. We have a point of order.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister's called my veracity in question. The number came from the National Business Review, a renowned left-wing journal.
Order. That is not a point of order. That is a matter of debate within the answer. And order. The member has the opportunity with further supplementaries if he wishes to tease out that information. Does the Prime Minister wish to complete his answer?
Yeah. But Mr. Speaker, what is clear is that this is a commercial matter, and in fact the government doesn't support a Buy Australia-made campaign any more than it actually supports the supermarkets in New Zealand that actually run Buy New Zealand-made campaigns. Mr. Speaker, what is clear is the Australian government is running a full investigation actually into competition policy in Australia. There is an opportunity for New Zealand companies to submit to that. But, Mr. Speaker, these are actions by a commercial company. So if the member is telling us that he's going to intervene with them, it's a very interesting thing to hear.
Supplementary question.
Supplementary question, Honourable David Cunliffe.
Does the Prime Minister consider cups of tea and shady deals with extreme minor parties to be gerrymandering the MMP electoral system?
How does that relate to the Prime Minister? How does that relate to the Prime Minister? Order. The Prime Minister is quite capable of answering it. Prime Minister, Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, I think if the member wants to talk about some of those issues, he should go and look in the mirror and also talk to Dr Norman.
Supplementary question, Honourable David Cunliffe.
Mr Speaker, does the Prime Minister stand by his statement that, quote, people want greater transparency? And if so, why won't his government release the text of the Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement before any final agreement is signed?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Well, Mr Speaker, as I said earlier, firstly, the government has been involving all of the interested stakeholders. My understanding is that the Trade Minister has been talking to both Mr Goff and Mr Shearer. If they feel they want more information, they're potentially prepared to answer even confidentiality arrangements. I'm sure we can go another step forward. We are following... No, sit down, sunshine, I haven't finished.
Order. Both members... Order, I'm on my feet. Both members will resume their seat. Now, is there a point of order? Point of order?
Point of order, Mr
Honourable
Speaker.
David Cunliffe.
Mr Speaker, as the question went to the matter of the text of the Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement, I thought it might assist the Prime Minister to clarify on that matter, as he's talking about something quite different.
That's not a valid point of order. The question was related to transparency, and the Prime Minister was addressing that. Does the Prime Minister wish to add further to his answer?
I do, Mr Speaker. Mr Speaker, the process that's being followed here is the identical process that was followed with the China FTA. Mr Speaker, we are more than happy to try and keep parties up to date once texts are complete, and we're in a position to be able to do that through a proper process. This is the same process that was followed for China.
Point of order, Mr Speaker.
Point of order, Honourable David Cunliffe.
Quite clearly, the question concerned the Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement. Prime Minister is obviously new to foreign policy, but it was not the kind of free trade.
Order. Again, for the third occasion, that's not a valid point of order. What the member's attempting to do is to use the point of order process to debate an answer that's been given. The process should be better accomplished by using further supplementaries. Supplementary question, Honourable David Cunliffe.
Mr Speaker, given that the Prime Minister routinely refuses to comment on intelligence and security matters, why did he make statements in relation to operational intelligence regarding New Zealanders in Syria?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, from time to time I do offer answers where I believe it's the right thing to do. I've done that on other occasions in the past, and actually the interesting thing yesterday was it was a great example of how GCSB actually assists the SIS to protect New Zealanders. And interestingly enough, I remember in this House about 6 months ago the strongest opposition coming from the Labour Party, yet last night David Cunliffe was once again on TV telling New Zealanders he wanted to go further than that. He wanted more information and more laws. Fortunately, Mr Goff straightened him up on the radio this morning. Order. This is a point of order, and it will be heard in silence.
Mr Speaker, I seek leave to table an article on Australian supermarkets being locking out New Zealand exports, tabled in the National Business Review.
No. Order. I'm not even prepared to put the leave. We're not tabling the National Business Review. Question number 3, the Honourable Kate...
Speaker. Point of order.
A point of order, the Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Speaker, I seek to table a list of New Zealand First Parliamentary staff showing no Mr Bayliss.
The easiest way is for the House to determine this. Leave is sought to table a list of NZ First staff. Is there any objection to that being tabled? There appears to be no objection. It can be so tabled. Question number 3. Order. Question number 3, the Honourable Kate Wilkinson.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister